Hello, hello, hello. Very good morning. Welcome along to Ireland AM. It is Wednesday, the 15th of November.
It is indeed. Today we've got everything from dumping to dating.
Like what you did there.
Dumping and dating.
We'll start with dumping with the news of low recycling rates in homes. There are now talks of councils carrying out spot checks and open up the bin, have a look.
Can you imagine the amount of people that would be pretending they were from the council going around to see what their neighbours have in the bin?
Oh,
that would totally happen. That would totally happen. Anyway,
the bin hooker. We want to know if bins cause arguments in your house. Is there one who's good at recycling, one who just throws everything in? Let us know. 0896 111 111. We are going to be discussing that at 7:35.
Yeah. Do you have that person that walks into the sitting room going, "Where was this? Where was it? You put this in the wrong bin." Is that in your house? Does it call? We would love to hear from you. Plus, ahead of tonight's documentary on the wonderful Sinéad O'Connor, we're going to be hearing from some of her closest friends about what she was really like behind her public persona.
And we hear from the New Yorker who took on the challenge of 28 dates in 28 days in the quest to find love. That's some stamina. Let us know. Have you any bad date stories? I'm sure there's a couple of bad ones.
Does that sound like hell or
hell.
Fun to you? Hell. Absolute hell. Now we're going over to something that is heaven. Shiva, good morning.
What a welcome. Good morning, guys.
There you go.
Plenty more on the way today. We've got warm winter wear on the catwalk and a delicious pasta plate in the kitchen. Alberto's with us this morning. What are you making us, Alberto?
We are making Fregula salad with mushroom, chestnuts and guanciale.
Okay, and that's a type of pasta, is it?
Yes, it's type of pasta from Sardinia.
Right, okay, I've never seen that before, but look, it takes all types to make a world. Can't wait to have a look at that. Deric is in Clare this morning. How's it going there, Ermod and Deric?
Yeah, Gordon Mila Shiva, Tommy Bjorn, Show Kunta and Clare. Clare is where we're at this morning. Quite a wild start down here this morning, but in fact we're going to see some really nice November sunshine out there today, albeit some showers to the southwest later on this evening. But get out and about and enjoy that bit of November sunshine while we have it. Now, Spanish Point in County Clare is where we're at this morning, and coming up later on for Wednesday's report, we're off to meet the Snobby Sauce crew. They're a swim group founded by the wonderful June Curtin, so it's a real story of compassion and community spirit, and we'll have more from the Banner County right across the morning. But guys, look at this, it's wild, it's wonderful. Next stop, America.
Are you getting in, Deric? Are you going to get in?
I am, look. Well, I have the towel with me anyway, so who knows what'll happen.
Okay, well let's hope you've got the Speedos as well.
I was saying yesterday to Shiva, I've seen more of Deric's body than I have of my partner's. I'm pretty sure of it. That's just
really?
loves jumping into the Speedos. We're looking forward to that.
You need to be chilled to handle Irish weather. That's why Chill sponsor weather updates on Virgin Media One.
Thank you, Ger, and a very good morning. We're broadcasting here from the beautifully wild Spanish Point down here in County Clare. Coming up later on this morning, we're off to meet the Sauve y Snosta swim crew for a dip in the Atlantic. It's going to be a bit of a chilly one, so that's all to come in and around 9:35 this morning. So we're on to the 15th of the month. Let's take a look weather-wise now at how it's shaping up with Gary Culliton with us on cameras once again. You'll be glad to hear holding mainly dry and settled, quite windy out there this morning. Now we are seeing showers here into the east part of County Clare through Kilkishen and Broadford, elsewhere up around parts of Leitrim and County Fermanagh, but holding dry and settled as we push our way now into the hump of the week. Bear in mind, very windy out there this morning, fresh and locally gusty westerly winds. They'll be in the driving seat over the coming hours. So as we push our way across today, in fact, take a look at the map, because we're going to see some really nice November sunshine, finally return to good fine dry weather out there today, with the exception really of parts of the southwest where we will see cloud thicken up there, with rain arriving there into early evening. A little bit of a nip in the air as well in terms of those temps as those winds ease and back to the south, with top values of around 8 to 11 degrees. Into tonight then, that rain across southern regions, that will push eastwards across the country, hitting through parts of the Midlands and across southern Connacht, parts of southern Leinster as well. A lot drier the further north we go. That's in fact where we're going to see the coolest of those temperatures out there tonight, at 2 to 4, 5 to 7 down south as that rain passes through. So that's how it's shaping up for now here in a dry and settled County Clare. We're live in Spanish Point. We'll be back again live at 7:35.
You need to be chilled to handle Irish weather. That's why Chill sponsor weather updates on Virgin Media One.
Now, up next, this broke last night, a few hours ago. A number of Irish citizens who are trapped in Gaza, they are hoping to cross the border into Egypt a little bit later on today.
Yes, coming up after the break, we're going to be looking into the stories behind today's top headlines.
Now it's time to take a look at this morning's papers. We'll start with the Irish Times. Its headline, RT stars to be hit by €250,000 salary cap. A salary cap will be introduced at RT in tandem with plans to shrink the broadcaster's workforce by 400 people between now and 2028. Director General Kevin Backhurst has said the broadcaster would remain a substantial organisation despite the loss of 1 in 5 jobs.
The Mirror also goes with this story, their headline, Slash and Burn. The move from Kevin Backhurst will see hosts such as Claire Byrne, Joe Duffy and Miriam Callaghan hit with a salary cap.
Also on this topic, the Star says, cap in hand, the new 4-year plan called A New Direction was published just hours after the government confirmed a €56 million bailout to RTE.
The Daily Mail's headline reads, RTE stars not told their pay will be slashed. The paper claims RTE Director General did not tell the broadcasters' most highly paid presenters that they face major pay cuts of up to €100,000 before announcing his plan for sweeping financial reforms yesterday.
Arrears crisis has thousands now behind on their gas bills. That's the front page of today's Irish Independent. New figures on arrears from the energy regulators show that 56% of non-domestic gas customers were behind on their payments and 23% of households are now in arrears on gas bills.
The Herald goes with Monkey Business sparks gas split. A former member of the notorious Monkey Gang is facing death threats after being accused of a secret relationship with a female relative of one of the gang's bosses.
And finally, the Examiner leads with hopes Irish citizens will be able to leave Gaza and escape conflict. A number of Irish citizens in Gaza are hoping to leave the besieged enclave today after being told their names are expected to be on a list of those allowed to depart for Egypt. And with more on that story and everything else this morning is Jack Horgan-Jones from the Irish Times. Jack, thank you so much for joining us. Obviously, these names of these 35 to 40 people, the Irish citizens on this list, hoping to get out today.
Yes, so it looks like a glimmer of light here. What we heard overnight is that it looks like there's one family who have been told that they may be on a list today. The Department of Foreign Affairs confirming that in a statement overnight. And that is obviously contingent on the Rafah crossing between Gaza and Egypt actually opening today. But if it does, and if those people are on a list, we could be looking at a situation where the first of those 35 to 40 Irish citizens are able to leave the besieged enclave of Gaza. And that's a big win, obviously, for those people who have been exposed to unimaginable risk over the last month or so, but also it's a validation of the government's strategy in some way, because the government has been under increasing pressure to take a more hardline stance with Israel, to eject the Israeli ambassador, and has been arguing that, you catch more flies with honey than with vinegar, and, that dialogue will be the way forward here, and that would seem to be validated by this.
Yeah, we have to say just some are aid workers who won't want to leave. That's the thing, like some are aid workers who are
35, 40, yes.
who want to stay in Gaza, as we've been hearing reports from, they're not leaving.
What has the Taoiseach said this, and even Micheál Martin, the Taoiseach, who I know is going to visit Israel as well? Is there hope that more Irish people will be on the list? Or is there hope that more people will be allowed to evacuate?
I think inevitably there is hope that all the Irish people, all the Irish passport holders who want to leave will be able to leave. But it's subject to, obviously, the chaotic nature of the situation at the Rafah crossing, and also whether they end up on the list. Are there some countries that
are getting more out than others? Like, does it look like there's a disparity that Ireland actually have had nobody on the list until now?
It's hard to be absolutely definitive about that. And the government has asked the Israeli ambassador. Israel effectively controls those lists. The government has asked the Israeli ambassador, and they've said, no, that's not the case. But there does seem to be a subjective sense, and certainly the political charge has been levelled that Ireland is being punished in effect for a vote that took place at the UN where Ireland voted for a ceasefire. Now, that has been denied. It's important to say that. But that sense, that political charge was gaining momentum. So I think the more people who come out and the more we get a sense that perhaps we're not an outlier, and that, in line with other EU countries, we are seeing our citizens exit, then the potency of that political charge does lessen a little bit.
Well, unsurprisingly, when America give you $3.8 billion in military aid every year, you're going to be able to get your citizens out. Anyway, can we just say this morning there has been an update, and this is that Israeli soldiers have entered Al-Shifa Hospital in Gaza City.
Yeah, so Al-Shifa Hospital has become in many ways the kind of psychological centre of this entire conflict. You know, there is Israel and indeed the US contends that it conceals a Hamas command post, a subterranean command post, and there's obviously been reports of mass graves being dug by people at Al-Shifa Hospital and huge untold human suffering and misery within the walls of the hospital itself, which has come under bombardment. And now it looks this morning as if Israeli commandos have stormed the hospital. There seems to be armoured divisions outside. Reports from AP of people being interrogated by Israeli soldiers within the compound itself. So I think, well, things are reaching a very bloody peak there, unfortunately, and we will probably, it seems, in the coming days find out whether there is in fact a command
centre.
Evolving, and of course, if that does prove to be the case, we will hear an awful lot more about it in the coming days. Let's move on to another story that is closer to home. It's very much at the front and centre of all the newspapers this morning. So Kevin Backhurst came out yesterday. Obviously, there was this leak of the plan of 400 people set to lose their jobs. But let's talk about the broadcasters as well, even at the moment, with the salary cap going to be brought in, because salaries, the whole thing kind of started around this Ryan Tubridy pay. Then we have a lot of the other top presenters.
Yeah, it's one of the oldest
salaries.
bugbears when it comes to RTÉ. It's the pay of presenters, and that's why there was such rocket fuel attached to the Ryan Tubridy issue, because not only was the pay high, but there was undisclosed payments. And I don't think anyone should really be surprised to hear that the broadcaster is going to try and rein in the level of what used to be called top talent pay at RTÉ, and that's going to be brought under a new salary cap. So what Kevin Backhurst has said, and what the new direction document outlines, is that nobody is going to be paid more than Kevin Backhurst himself, the Director General.
It's like Roy Keane and Man United back in the day.
Yeah, I was thinking it sounds a bit like a political manifesto, actually, a new direction for RTÉ. But so no one's going to get paid more than Kevin Backhurst himself. His salary is $250,000 a year, and that means that some of the top paid presenters at the network, so people. And
you would imagine executives.
No, the executives would already be under the.
I
would imagine under the kind of CEO's cap, but the likes of Claire Byrne and Joe Duffy and so on, they will see their pay come down to that level. Now, it's not immediately, because obviously they have contracts of employment. You can't turn around in the morning and say, you know, your pay is contract. But as those contracts come up for renewal, you will see them being asked to take
But is this interesting? Because they get to focus in on three people, a few of whom do an awful lot of work, like between radio shows, TV shows, and other stuff that they do for the corporation. It's a few different jobs that they do. Focusing on this rather than talking about the benefits in kind, the bonuses, the expenses that executives are getting, and going, the public just want blood from the people that they know.
I think that's part of it. Yeah, there is a kind of bloodlust there, all right. But I think that you're right. It has to go hand in glove with those deeper reforms. And in fairness, they are signalling an intention to do that. They're talking about cutbacks happening at a higher level of salary, but not necessarily at that top level. So above €100,000, and those savings being made that are made being plowed back into the other parts of the broadcaster. And an examination of the various convoluted and archaic kind of systems of allowances that are paid out in RTÉ. So trying to kind of bring all that under control, you know, but it's a big governance challenge, and it's a big reform challenge over the next couple of years.
And it's something that I know the government are trying to impose themselves in this, but it does look like they are still going to give them the €56 million bailout, which is an astronomical number, I think, over probably 2 years, but we'll hear more about that as well. Let's just move on to quickly a bit more of an interesting one then about smartphone usage. It's one of those ones, like myself and my wife will never ask, you know, what's your phone usage on the phone? But it turns out women under 40...
It's not like, who are you texting or who are you
chatting? No, exactly. It's too embarrassing. You spent how long on your phone?
It is embarrassing.
So what is this? So there's over 50,000 people took part in this worldwide study of smartphone usage.
Do you remember when you were young and your mother used to warn, you know, TV will rot your brain?
Oh yeah, may or may
get
the square eyes.
It seems to be actually absolutely the case that smartphone use will rot your brain. So this is a massive study undertaken by McGill University in Canada and Harvard University in the US. It's looked at 50,000 people across the world, and it basically assesses that around a third of the globe is at risk of smartphone addiction. They've all these kind of standardized ways of measuring, how often you go on your phone, but also how do you feel when you're away from your phone. And I don't think anyone will really be surprised that it's a big number, but nonetheless, when you look at it and you realise a third of the entire globe is at risk of smartphone addiction, it's a huge number.
Massive. I mean, I just think, I was out for a walk with the dog yesterday, and I saw a text message pop up. I thought, I must send a text, and then I opened my phone, and before I even realised I was on Instagram. Do you know, like, it's this it's crazy.
Yeah,
like,
and it's built that way as well.
He has some new shots he wanted to check out if he was getting any love hearts. Who is it? Who are the worst? Women under 40? Women
under 40, apparently. So this apparently is because women tend to use their phones more for social purposes, such as texting and so on, but also because the study finds women have generally higher rates of depression and anxiety, so therefore are more vulnerable to doom scroll, use their phones as a distraction. And then in terms of countries, it's Southeast Asian countries, apparently, who are most...
Southeast Asian countries,
and European countries best off.
Do you want to let us know how long you spend on your phone? Men, women, children, whatever?
Doom
Do you want to tell us?
My
You can keep it
goodness.
anonymous. Do you think you're addicted to your phone? How long do you spend on it? 0896 111 111. Jack needs it for his work, obviously. Jack Horgan-Jones from the Irish Times, thank you for joining us.
We all need it for work. It's very important, the work you get done on your phone these days.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Jack.
Up next, we're tackling tips and tricks for recycling. And you can Google it on your phone as to what can be recycled.
We'll see you for that after the break.
You need to be chilled to handle Irish weather. That's why Chill sponsor weather updates on Virgin Media One.
Yes, Ger, we have a beautiful sunrise just coming up over my shoulder here down at Spanish Point in West Clare. Out there this morning, in fact, weather-wise, it's a pretty decent start for most years, with the exception of parts of East Clare, up around Fermanagh and into County Leitrim. Some nice scattered showers there. Elsewhere, holding dry, steady. Quite windy out there this morning as well. Those westerly winds, moderate to fresh and locally gusty at times. Now, right across the day, in fact, a really decent day in store. Some nice November sunshine on the cards. Cloud thickening up from the southwest. Showers there in towards the back end of the day. 8 to 12 in terms of temps. And then into tonight, showers then from the south pushing eastwards across the country. Heavy at times, 2 to 5 across northern spots in terms of those temps. A little bit milder the further south we go at 6 to 7 degrees. So that's how it's shaping up here in County Clare at the moment. We'll be back again live at 8.
You need to be chilled to handle Irish weather. That's why Chill sponsor weather updates on Virgin Media One.
Welcome back. Now, yesterday, the Environmental Protection Agency, they published a report which found that 2/3 of Irish households are not disposing of their waste correctly.
Here to discuss the findings and help us improve our recycling skills is sustainability expert Pat Kane. You're very welcome this morning,
Hi,
Pat.
Hello.
So yesterday, the EPA published their environmental enforcement report for 2022. They carried out 197,000 inspections last year and found that in many places across the country, we're not delivering the necessary environmental outcomes. Is this a surprise to anyone?
It shouldn't be. There's a lack of education out there. I think people get really confused with everyday items and things end up going into the wrong bin. So it's a shame, of course, and we can absolutely do better, but not a surprise, I guess.
Do some people kind of think, well, listen, I know my neighbours are doing it wrong, and if they're going to contaminate it, why bother? Why am I bothering to do it? Because that is a situation. If it's contaminated by one bin, everything's contaminated, right?
Yeah. Well, the thing is, we can only do our best.
Yeah.
And I'm always advocating for the power of one.
Yes.
So it's you as one individual doing better. So if you can, please do better.
Yes, you're right. Like, it's personal responsibility, you know. Like, if no one makes a difference, nothing can happen, you know. So what are we doing wrong when it comes to our waste disposal in our households?
Well, we are forgetting to wash some of the items that go in there. So if you think of your containers, plastic containers or milk cartons and bottles and whatnot, they have to be washed. And I'm not saying like super clean, smelling like lavender. It's just rinsed.
Yes.
Yeah. We're looking into things going into the wrong bins, so things we think we can compost. And I know we're going to talk about some of these items shortly with Tommy there. But, so the rules are there. They are generic, but they are not clear. And, we clearly need more information, right?
There was this idea yesterday when the report came out that they were going to get people from the councils, from the county councils, to go around and start checking people's bins to see if they were disposing of their waste properly. I prefer they do that than clamp cars, personally, if cars or whatever. That's just me. What do you make of that idea?
Yeah, unfortunately, it's not an either or, right? They will do both, probably. But I don't think that's a great idea because, no one has ever changed with a smile on their faces, after being pointed a finger at. No one likes to be pointed fingers and no one wants to be told, like, how dare you? So I would much rather if we had an approach that's like, look, let's talk about real life scenarios. Look at your kitchen. This is how you go about your kitchen. Or look at your day. You go to work, you go to school, you come back, you cook your dinner, you go out shopping. So these are the things you can do better. And then make people go into this journey with you rather than how dare you.
Yeah. So more of a carrot than a stick approach. But
Absolutely.
It's stuff like, when you go to the supermarket, maybe looking for the loose items rather than going for things covered in plastic.
100%.
Like, that's where we could start, just reducing the actual waste we're creating.
We're asking you there on the screen, would you be okay with the county council looking through your bins, having a nice old sconce and an all look there? You can just scan the QR code when you open up your camera app and you can let us know. And so far, no is unsurprisingly at 83% of people. And something fascinating that I found out yesterday was that Switzerland have 100% waste recovery and they haven't used landfills since the year 2000.
That's crazy.
23 years.
Yeah.
So it can be done.
It can be done.
It can be done.
Yeah.
It can be done. Now, you ready for this?
Let's do
Are
it.
you ready? Do you know that we work with a very competitive man? So we're getting to go over to Quizmaster. He's going to love this now, Tommy, who's going to be putting our recycling skills to the test. How is this not a Sunday night show, Tommy?
This is my chance, Maren. Yes, welcome to the new game show here on Ireland AM. It is dump it and whatever bin, I don't know. Yes, I'm going to go. I have a load of different items here now, guys. Shiva and Maren, I'm going to test your knowledge. Right, so we're going to start off with the three. We have recycling, we have the black bin, and we have compostable bins.
Yeah.
Paper, first up, what do you reckon?
Dry mix recyclables.
Yeah, dry mist recyclables.
Dry mist recyclables.
Am I
yes,
right?
that is correct.
Woo!
Oh my God, Pat's happy with
okay,
us.
receipts.
I would say dry mix recyclables.
General waste.
Well, this is interesting, actually, because there are two different types. So if you look at the back of this one, it actually has recyclable, and this one, it doesn't. So keep an eye out. If it's got the green, it means you can recycle it. Where's that? The rest of it goes into the black. That's paper. I can't believe that. Why is that, Pat?
It has plastic in there. It's printed on thermal paper. Into the general waste it goes. I'm sorry, unless it states on paper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really? Should that not be a ban on
Sugar.
using that type of paper then,
I know.
I just presumed that was just
Everybody
recyclable.
does.
Okay,
Yeah.
next, tinfoil.
Recyclable.
Wash it and it's recyclable.
Do you want me to say? So little bits of tinfoil can't be recycled. However, if you have them clean and turn into one big bowl bigger than your fist, you can recycle that.
So turn it into a ball. And
Clean,
be
very
recycled.
clean.
It has to
You
be
put it
clean.
into general waste there.
bin.
You put it into the wrong bin.
That wasn't clean.
Oh my God.
That wasn't clean.
This is his demo to be a quizmaster on a
Okay.
Sunday night TV
Kitchen
show.
roll. Kitchen roll. What have we got?
I think compost.
Compost. Oh, we're doing the same thing.
Yeah.
I'm going to say general waste.
Jeopardy. Well, to be fair, you're both right. Well, actually, mixed recycling are compost. So if
Yeah.
it's clean, I presume it goes into the compost. Or recycling.
If it's clean, goes into recycling. If it's dirty, it's either composting or general waste bin.
Oh, see,
There you
yeah.
go.
Right, well, I'm going to say this is composting. Right, okay, next.
It's fine.
Oh, what about this one? Hair.
Okay, all right, lads, calm down. Don't be giving out about my hair. I brought a live thing. You could take a DNA sample. You could clone me.
Right, what do you reckon with the hair?
That's not my hair, by the way.
My hair.
That would be compost.
General waste.
Hair is actually composting our home compost. There you go. So stick your hair. Don't put it down the plug.
No, these better.
Put it into
You
the
know
plug.
what?
There
Just
we
one
go.
note on that. Gardens love a bit of hair. Spread them out thinly, and they will break down quickly. So small amounts of hair, no harm.
Okay, yeah, 'cause-
Obviously, you're
Okay.
not going to go to a hairdresser.
Yeah, because I heard that birds like to use it for nests as
That's
well,
correct.
you know?
Oh,
Okay, finally, let's go
don't
with
need
coffee
to be
cups. No, that's too easy. Cotton buds.
With or without makeup on it.
general waste.
Clean.
General waste.
Compost. Oh no, it's cotton, isn't it? That's plastic. I don't know.
No.
General
Come on,
waste.
Sheila, we're going to have to push you for an answer.
Compost.
Dun, 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 dun. No, that is general waste bin. There you go.
Okay.
Well done. I think you're both failed.
Can I also just
Check out
say,
your bins.
on Sunday night here on Virgin Media One, we're making him work for his money. We think there should be a salary cap, so he's now going to be hosting a show called You're Dumped with Tommy Bowe. Thank you so much. Well done, Tommy. Quizmaster General this morning. Pat Kane, as always, thank you so much.
Thank you,
and people
guys.
can find you on Reusey.
Reusey, yeah, you can find me there.
That's it. Thank you so much. Lots more still to come on Ireland Day. After. Are you so excited after that? We need to calm you down. We'll take a quick break. Back in a second.
You're very welcome back. Now, with Christmas just around the corner, plenty of us are going to go into spending overdrive over the next few weeks.
Here to help us make sound financial decisions is Gráinne Griffin, Director of Communications for the Competition and Consumer Protection Commission. Gráinne, thank you so much for joining us this morning. We really appreciate it. So according to your research, I think people are going to spend on average €600 this Christmas. We know we're in a cost of living crisis. Are the issues here an awful lot of people are starting to use buy now, pay later? Is there an issue here?
Definitely. I think that's one of them. So we know we're coming up to Christmas. People are going to be spending more. And it is a time where for some people, they'll dip into a credit. They'll dip into credit or savings or some other way to actually fund their Christmas spending. So we're really just encouraging people to take time to think about, are you going to need credit this Christmas? And if you are, then think about what type of credit to use, because there's a lot of differences between the different products and some are a lot more financially healthy than others.
So what sources of this are available to people, and are there better ones than others?
Yeah, I think so. And a lot about it is really, a lot of what you need to think about is what do you need, you know? So if you know, for example, that you're going to spend maybe, say, €1,000 this Christmas, and in order to pay that back, it's probably going to take you about 6 months. You just know you don't have that level of extra income every month. It's probably going to take you about 6 months. Then probably the best product for you is maybe a personal loan. Go down to the credit union or look at our money tools on ccpc.ie and see what's the cheapest rate, and maybe take out a personal loan and pay it back in regular instalments over the next 6 months or a year. But if you're only looking for a very small amount, then maybe it's something that you can save up between now and Christmas for, or else perhaps you have savings. A lot of us have savings and we somehow think that they're untouchable. Using your savings can actually be the best way to get Christmas
as
without
opposed to get into debt and paying these big interest rates.
Yeah. Like ideally, the way you really ideally want to live life is that you get paid via weekly, fortnightly, monthly. You pay your big bills, you put a little bit in your savings, and then you live on what you have left for the rest of the week or the fortnight or the month until you get more money. Ideally, we live within our means and we don't take on debt on a day-to-day basis. But what we're seeing now is that there are more people who are maybe reaching for the credit card or increasingly going for buy now, pay later as just a way to pay kind of daily expenses. And that is worrying.
That's because it's daily expenses that you mentioned there that I find is so interesting. So Klarna is something that I see at the end of every Shopify. If you're buying anything online, if you're on Just Eat, you can do Klarna. So it's kind of like where you can pay things off in 3 installments, right? And they're sort of a bank. They put up their first profit in 4 years. They weren't making any money. It kind of looks at the cost of living crisis. It's kind of pointing that people can't afford to pay for everything now. They have to put it off. Is it a good option?
Generally, I'd say it's not a good option. I mean, it's not just Klarna. You've got Klarna, you've got Home, you've got Revolut. There's loads of different buy now, pay later options out there. But ultimately, what they're all selling you is the idea of postponing the payment. So you only pay for a bit of it now, and you pay for it then in a series of installments. And it can even sound like quite sensible. Oh, maybe I'll just put it staggered out. Or that sounds great. It nearly sounds handy. Maybe I'll be more organised. But in reality, you're just pushing the pain out. And what's going to happen is that that's going to fall due next month and the month after, but so are your regular expenses for that month and for the month after. And so they can accumulate, you can build up fees, there can be charges, and ultimately it's not a good way to live your life. And what we see is that people don't even necessarily realise that they're going into debt. They feel like it's maybe even just a payment method, as opposed to I am going to a finance company and I am taking out out a loan and everything that comes with that to pay for something that maybe I actually have the money in the bank for already.
I mean, in years gone by, you kind of think of loan sharks and someone, if you don't pay it, they'll come around with the baseball bats, you see on the telly, whatever else. But these are kind of done electronically. So what happens if you miss payments, you get into arrears? How do they get the money back, or what can they do?
Yeah, it's a really good question, because actually when somebody is taking out a loan, what we always say to them is ask for the total cost of credit. Things like APRs and things like that are very confusing, particularly when it comes to short-term products. So look for how much is this going to cost me? And the thing with buy now, pay later is that it's very hard to know. It can look like it's going to be free, but actually, if you miss the payment, or if you, or say you're sending back a return and it hasn't come through, so you're paying back more than you expected, all these different things can go wrong, and it can be quite hard for you to predict what the actual end cost might be.
And it can affect your credit.
It can, it depends on the amount, but ultimately you can go the full way up to debt collectors and impact on your credit rating, because potentially you could be spending quite a lot of money. This can build up.
Grania, for someone right now who could be in that situation where they're struggling to pay back a loan, whether it is a big loan or a small loan, what advice do you have?
Call MABS. MABS is a great organisation. It's for budgeting.
Money advice,
for anybody who's in debt. And get in touch with MABS and look for support around it. But also, you can also just Google budgeting and getting on top of debt. And generally, it will involve making a list of all of your credit and trying to find out if there is an easier way to do it at the moment. There are solutions. There's lots of different ways it can be done. But it is a question of reaching out to somebody else who can have a conversation with you about it and making a plan.
Very interesting. Listen, if this is you at home and find it hard to make ends meet, whatever, how difficult is it to budget? How difficult is it that you have to potentially go on to things like Klarna to pay for things? We'd love to hear from you. 0896 111 111. Grania Griffin from CCPC, thank you for joining us. And also visit CCPC for more information. We have loads more coming up here on Ireland Day.
Back with you in just a minute. Hello, welcome back to Ireland AM. It is lovely to have you with us.
Coming up very shortly, we're going to be chatting to those closest to the late Sinéad O'Connor. We're going to hear some of their fondest memories ahead of tonight's documentary on the Grammy-winning singer.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing that later on. Plus, we speak to the New York native who took on... Is this the ultimate dating challenge? She had to go on a pile of dates. I don't know how she did it. Sounds awful.
Yeah.
Awful.
So,
unless you like dating, unless you see it as a competitive
28
sport.
dates in 28 days, to be fair, is pretty impressive. Now, do you remember the young fella, John Joe, from the Toy Story?
Toy show.
A toy show, yeah, of course, who wanted to be a horologist. Yeah. And everybody fell in love. Like, what is a horologist? Well, it's somebody who's obsessed with watches. We're going to be talking to another fella who maybe got inspiration from John Joe, who is now taking over YouTube. Yeah. And all about watches.
A few years later, we'll catch on in Ireland Day. We'll be like, come here, we talked to a horologist. He was on about 5 years ago. So we're looking forward to that in just a little while. It says here, fashion royalty, Rob Condon. Fashion royalty. How are you doing, sir?
Very complimentary this morning.
Lovely. What are we talking about today?
We are all about winter events. So any winter events you might have coming up, from Christmas parties to winter weddings. We have sequins, we've sparkle, we've forest greens and faux furs. We have it all this morning.
Blunt.
Yeah,
that
great selection.
Gorgeous on you. So there's blues over here, blues with you.
Look at the sparkle.
There's a lot going on.
Look at the sparkle. We've got a lot of pink going on in the kitchen this morning.
And then pink in the kitchen.
Yes, guys, Alberto has me working really hard here. What's this? What are we making today?
This is a Fregula sarda. It's a typical pasta from Sardinia, and we are using it to cook with chestnuts, with mushrooms, and with guanciales. A nice winter pot.
Yeah, it's a very wintry kind of stew. I am, honestly, I'm straining the life out of this pasta. Can't wait for that. Sounds delicious. Smells really good. Tá Deric ag snáb Modern. Deric, are you out? No sign of the Speedos yet. Deric.
I am Shiva. Come here. It's wild, it's windy. Welcome down here to Spanish Point in beautiful West Clare. We're joined now by June Curtin from Snovey Sauce. It's wild, isn't it, June?
It's a wild one this morning, Deric. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, I believe you have a big challenge coming up.
I sure do. From the 1st to the 21st of December, I'll be doing 63 swims in 21 days. That's 3 a day.
Are you mad?
You know how hard it is to get in once a day in December, never mind 3 times a day.
And you're hoping to raise over €200,000.
That's my target for the Simon community, the Midwest Simon community. Yeah.
All right, a great cause. Well, hopefully we'll be getting in with you later on. Have you got your togs?
Well, Deric just told me, just so you all know, he has his budgie smugglers ready for later. So
you know me, I won't let you down. All right, back to you in Dublin.
You need to be chilled to handle Irish weather. That's why Chill sponsor weather updates on Virgin Media One.
Yes, sure. Take a look at that beautiful view just over my shoulder. Gorgeous sunrise coming up here as we broadcast live from Spanish Point down here in West County Clare. We're going to be catching up with the Snovey Sauce crew into the next hour, so hang with us for that. Now, we're getting past 8 o'clock here together, and I have to say a windy but quite a beautiful start down here in West Clare at the moment. Still some showers hitting the east of the county, up around parts of the Inchone Peninsula, through Leitrim and into County Fermanagh, but elsewhere it is holding pretty steady and decent now with some really nice November sunshine as you wake up to your Wednesday morning. Still quite windy as well, moderate to locally fresh and often gusty westerly winds. Now across today, those westerly winds will be in the driving seat. They will ease back as we push into the back end of the day, veering to the south, and in behind is in fact a pretty decent day in store, because we're going to see some really nice sunshine out there today, with the exception really of the southwest, where we will see that cloud thickening up, producing some showers as we work our way into the latter half of the day. Valley's out there today, a bit of a nip in the air, so wrap up warm at 8 to 12 degrees. And then into tonight, we're going to see those southwestern showers push up across parts of Munster and across the Midlands, Southern Connacht and into Leinster. A little bit drier the further north we go, and in fact that's where we're going to find the coolest of those temperatures out there tonight, back to 2 to 4, a little bit milder as that rain passes through across southern regions there at 5 to 7 degrees. So that's how it's shaping up here in a gorgeous Spanish Point in County Clare. That's where we're at the moment. We'll be back again live at 8:35.
You need to be chilled to handle Irish weather. That's why Chill sponsor weather updates on Virgin Media One.
All this week on Ireland AM, we've teamed up with Krispy Kreme to give away an amazing prize to one lucky viewer. To spread joy and kindness for World Kindness Day, Krispy Kreme are giving away free donuts across all their shops on the 13th of November. But to spread the kindness even further, or if you've missed out on the World Kindness Day, Krispy Kreme are giving away an amazing prize of €1,500 Blanchardstown Shopping Centre voucher as the home of Krispy Kreme's flagship shop. 2 dozen donuts every month for a year. One for the winner and one for them to share, to continue spreading kindness and joy for the full year. For your chance to win, just answer this question. What is the typical shape of a donut? Is it A, circle, or B, triangle? To enter, call 1550 999 318 or text SHOP to 57199. Best of luck.
Welcome back. Time now to take a look at this morning's papers. Starting with the Irish Times, its headline, RT stars to be hit by €250,000 salary cap. The salary cap will be introduced at RT in tandem with plans to shrink the broadcaster's workforce by 400 people between now and 2028. Director General Kevin Backhurst has said the broadcaster would remain a substantial organisation despite the loss of 1 in 5 jobs.
The Mirror also goes with that story, their headline, Slash and Burn. The move from Kevin Backhurst will see hosts such as Claire Byrne, Joe Duffy and Miriam Callaghan hit with a salary cap.
Also on this, the Star says cap in hand. The new 4-year plan, called A New Direction, was published just hours after the government confirmed a €56 million bailout to RTE.
The Daily Mail's headline reads, RTE stars not told their pay will be slashed. The paper claims RTE Director General did not tell the broadcaster's most highly paid presenters that they face major pay cuts of up to €100,000 before announcing his plan for sweeping financial reforms yesterday.
Arrears crisis as thousands now behind on their gas bills. That's what's on the front page of the Irish Independent. New figures on arrears from the energy regulator show that 56% of non-domestic gas customers were behind on their payments and 23% of households are now in arrears on their gas bills.
The Herald goes with monkey business sparks gang split. A former member of the notorious monkey gang is facing death threats after being accused of a secret relationship with a female relative of one of the gang's bosses.
And finally, the Examiner leads with hopes Irish citizens will be able to leave Gaza and escape conflict. This is in the news as well this morning. A number of Irish citizens in Gaza are hoping to leave the besieged enclave today after being told their names are expected to be on a list of those allowed to depart for Egypt.
Now, earlier on, guys, we were discussing the EPA's new report, which basically says that as a country, we're really bad at separating our waste. 2/3 of households are putting waste into the wrong bin. We got a few texts in about this, but we also asked you guys at home, because one of the suggestions is for spot checks be carried out on our bins by the EPA. So we asked, would you be OK with your local council going through your bins?
Dun, dun, dun. What's in your bin?
Good.
You think it's good?
Yeah.
In
Absolutely.
1990, I'm pretty sure in the 90s on Channel 4, there was a show late night at 2 o'clock in the morning going, what's in your bin? It seems like something that would have happened.
Well, we thought
I would watch
we'd
that.
ask you as well. I'd
Yes.
love to know that. We thought we'd ask you, would you be happy if the council were to go through your bin to see if you're doing the right recycling, put the right things into the right bin? And we did do a megaphone on it. So if you want
A megaphone?
A megaphone would be much better, wouldn't
does make more sense.
Hold your camera up to the QR code, scan it, tell us what you think. But already at the minute, 75% of people saying no.
What do you put in your bins, lads?
Yeah, like, what is the problem with, like, because I kind of think, for me, I do my best to do it, but I'm not perfect given the demonstration we did with Pat earlier.
Yeah, I can't believe you got more wrong than we did, and we were the ones being tested.
The quiz host isn't really meant to get it wrong,
We
is
were
he?
the ones that didn't have the answers.
Maybe why I don't host a quiz show,
But Jim
along
says,
with many
yes,
other reasons.
Tommy.
I think people are just sending in lots of things like, can you recycle this? Can you recycle this? Is cling film recycled? Shiva, what's the answer on that?
So, yes, cling film can be recycled, but it's very important that it is clean and dry. But supposedly it's likely to be covered in food and dirty. If you've used cling film, it's probably dirty. So when recycling clean cling film, it should be scrunched into a small ball.
You see, the council
about
might
the
come
balls?
along, they might pull apart your cling film and tell you.
They have
slap you with
the
a fine.
sniff test.
Oh, can you imagine? I
There's
don't
some
want to have
food
that
on
job,
that.
to be fair. Imagine going sniffing people's
yeah.
bins. Emer said, we live in an area in the country, rural Ireland, and our bin provider doesn't even provide a brown bin. They're paying €28 a month and they don't even get a brown bin.
Yeah.
There you go. So what opportunity is that for them to do the right thing?
They're expected to compost them, really, aren't they?
we
But it's
have-
like I'm paying for something that I'm not getting. Anyway, we'd love to hear from you. 0896 111 111, and whether it causes arguments in your house, because with my father, it always caused arguments. Unbelievable.
And in my house too.
Yeah, we've had a few fights, yeah.
Also, come up now, after the break, we are going to be speaking about Sinead O'Connor's wonderful legacy.
I'll talk to you in just a few minutes.
Good morning, you're very welcome back. Now, between her extensive career, incredible talent and passion for speaking out against injustice, Sinead O'Connor was truly a force to be reckoned with.
Tonight, a brand new documentary about Sinead's life and legacy. It airs at 9 p.m. on the Virgin Media Player and Virgin Media One. Joining us to discuss is musician and writer BP Fallon and singer Brian Kennedy. And thank you both so much for being here this morning.
You're more than welcome.
Before we have a chat, we're going to take a quick look at the documentary.
We start hearing rumbles of this. Well, Sinead Smith is extraordinary record. That was in the industry. People were saying this is amazing. And then the next thing is, well, it's a Prince song.
Nothing would have prepared her for what was about to happen.
Fight the real enemy.
What people jumped on was just simply that she was some rock star being controversial.
I thought, she's buried herself here. They're never, ever going to forgive her for this. Behind that mouth and behind those bother boots, she had a lot of right on her side. And most importantly, she had the balls to stand up and scream.
She spoke to a lot of people and they heard her.
She knew she was loved. The thing is, sometimes she felt she didn't deserve it.
What absolutely poignant words there. She knew she was loved, but sometimes she thinks she didn't deserve it. BP, why do you think that is about Sinead?
because although she was an incredible artist, recognised globally, like many of us, she wasn't me. She was, you know, I never went to a gig by hers, for example, that at the end she didn't say, was it all right? After wiping everyone out, you know, everyone's like, was it all right? And then she'd come back 20 minutes later, are you sure it was all right? You know, she knew she was great, but she was uncertain about it.
Yeah.
Because, Brian, you, in a way, you described her like a lioness, but also the lamb.
Yeah, you didn't know who you were
well.
going to get, you know, in terms of, would she just be like a wee lamb that you wanted to put your arms around nearly, you know? And I did many times. Sinéad and I were exactly the same age, came from the same sort of time, except she came from here, I came from the Falls Road, of course. And she really was interested in that. She was interested in the whole connection there, and musically as well. Yeah, and then other times, like I say, you'd meet the lioness, hugely protective of, you know, her people, her career, her you know, things that were going on. But a force to be reckoned with. And I have to say to both of you, it's so sad to be speaking about her in the past tense rather than in the present tense, I must say.
It entirely is. Like, look at these gorgeous photos of her there.
Yeah.
And I know, BP, in this documentary, so many iconic photos that you have taken of Sinead are in there. But, Brian, the day after her death, you were kind enough to speak to us. And the one thing that came through, and you talked about it continually, was how much fun she was.
We had such
Something
a
that we
laugh.
don't celebrate about her enough.
BP, wouldn't you say the same thing? She was a right laugh.
When people say, how do you remember that person? I remember this skipping girl with the twinkly eyes, having a laugh, thinking what devilment we could do next.
And we'd be in the studio, you know, and we'd have like a farting competition. So you'd be the loudest farter, you know. It'd be in the middle of doing this stunning vocal from her, and then she'd just suddenly turn around and go, you know, things like that.
Amazing on both ends.
Hilarious. Amazing. Exactly. Vocally fabulous at both ends. And so I just want to make sure that people also understand that. I remember just if we were at an award ceremony or something, we'd be talking about which of the security men that we fancied and all of that, you know, like hilarious, really funny things like that. And then one night, I remember it was in RTE, me and her and Daniel O'Donnell were the first people to get up on the dance floor to this kind of, I think it was the Camembert Quartet. And, you know, she was a really good dancer.
Listen, it's what I find is so sad is that we're only finding this out now.
I know.
And it's unfortunately too late.
Yes, that's right.
Because for you guys who knew her so well, for a lot of people in the public, they didn't maybe see that side of it.
Yeah.
BP, like, some of your memories, like you went to the Grammys in Hollywood together. You shared such incredible experiences. What was that like, just the two of you?
That was like cosmic, being on a rocket to Mars. It was incredible because there are all these famous people around, you know, celebrities, you know, Joni Mitchell, Stevie Wonder, Little Richard, Iggy Pop, Andy Warhol, Dizzy Gillespie. And at one point I saw Al Green there, and I'd been to his church in Memphis and had my lid raised. It was God, you know, kissing the angels in his church. And I saw him there backstage at the Grammys, and I went up to him and said, oh, sorry to interrupt you, would you be kind enough to give a blessing to myself and my friend, the Reverend Al Green? So he comes along, and when he's doing the number, the whole place just went completely silent. You know, normally backstage, if Frank Sinatra's over there, no one cares, right? But the whole place went quiet, and everyone was watching this thing. And then back again to sort of normality, you know. But it was...
That was the level.
It was nice.
And we all know that Sinead was an incredibly spiritual person. And BP, you took one of those iconic photos of her after she had been ordained as a priest.
Yes.
And I just remember her being on The Late Late Show and kind of vitriol that spewed out. Like, look at her there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I took that one.
You took that photo.
You see, also what people forget is that the microphone, you could argue, is rather phallic-looking and serves a double purpose.
And religious-looking. I mean, it looks like a chalice or something too, doesn't it?
Well, it is a chalice, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Her chalice.
You know, I used to call her the Rev. I was the Rev doing
The Rev,
today.
The Rev.
Yeah.
How do you feel having known her so well? Because in the public's mind, Sinead went through so many different iterations, right? But, you know, at her core, she's a mother. She always said she was an activist, and she ended up being a singer. How do you feel about how we speak about her now?
Two things. one thing is she would not like to have been stuck up on a pedestal with everyone going Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. So, well, doing Hare Krishna is fine, but not at a pedestal. I think she would be very moved by the fact that so many people only realised when she went celestial how much she meant to them, how much she was part of their last X years in Ireland.
Yeah.
And those are the people, normal, regular folk who stood when the coffin went by, and those are the stars of the situation, the real people of of Ireland and the world that she touched. Never mind groovy groovies. I'm talking about real people who really cared, who really were moved very, very much, and went and stood there to show it. Fantastic.
Brian, you refer in the documentary that she was known as crazy. People spoke about her as she was crazy. Of course, she ripped up the picture of the Pope, and there was uproar about it, and people who maybe didn't know about her struggles. And she spoke quite openly about her mental health struggles.
Definitely. I remember her ringing me one time. She'd just been on TV and to do with something, and she rang me and she said, "Do you think, did I come across that a bit crazy there on the phone?" I was like, "No." I mean, I said, "Look, a wee bit. It was very intense, certainly, but no, I would never. I never thought of her as crazy in that way." And you know, people vilified her so quickly.
That's what I was going to say. Does it annoy you now, looking back at it, and actually how she was vilified, like
every
everywhere.
trailblazer we've ever known in this island anyway, you know, they always start out the most courageous are the ones that are most mocked usually at the beginning. And certainly hopefully one of the legacies is that time and time again we are seeing just how right she was about everything that she said, the child abuse, all of that stuff, the cover up of it. So certainly
in recent years she's been talking about the HSE and mental health services in this country, which we know.
Look no further than that.
And she has been talking about that for many years.
That's right. Yeah, I mean, I think she was a visionary in that sense. And as we know, misogyny is never very far away from our culture, unfortunately, whether it's Ireland or the world. And it's very easy just to write her off and go, "Oh, yeah, she's crazy." It's so dismissive and it's outrageous.
I just know tonight that you get the real Sinead across, which is lovely. Yeah. You talk about gorgeous memories of a wonderful woman.
Well, thank you.
And
I suppose it's very naughty of me to say this, but I'm going to say it anyway. I mean, because she's such a huge icon to Irish culture and music, it's not surprising that there's only one programme here. RTE, David Whelan is making a programme on RTE, which I'm sure is going to be great because he did that wonderful Johnny Cash documentary. And the more the merrier programmes writing the thing about Sinead, the better. And as time recedes on its wobbly carpet into the distance, more focus will come on this positive person who did these wonderful things, and without question, as a singer stroke social conscious artist, she's up there with Billie Holiday, she's up there with Nina Simone, no 100%. Question.
And it's no mistake that it's called Faith and Courage.
And that's what it is tonight. And the fact is that you're her friends who want to keep her memory going, which is so beautiful. Sinead O'Connor, Faith and Courage. It's on tonight at 9 p.m. on Virgin Media Player and Virgin Media One with lovely people like BP Fallon and Brian Kennedy involved. Thank you both so much for being here this morning and chatting about Sinead.
Thank you for being a part of that documentary.
Thanks so much, guys.
Well. We're going to take a quick short break now. We're back in a few minutes.
Perfect coffee every time. Tassimo sponsors cookery on Ireland AM.
Fall to Arash, guys. Now, we're very lucky. We have it served in front of us already with a different kind of pasta shape. But pasta comes in all shapes and sizes. Have you ever heard of Fregula, Tommy?
Yes.
No, I haven't, Shiva. Okay. No, thank you.
There you go.
I was trying to mess with you on the auto cue there as well. At least I don't know how to pronounce that. Anyway, we're going to learn all about Italian pasta now with the one and only Alberto Rossi. Good morning.
Good morning, Shiva. Good morning,
well
Tommy.
Done, Shiva.
He's hazing me still. I'm here how long and he's still hazing me.
Cute to my tricks. What have we got? What's the pasta this morning?
It's called Fregula sarda. It's a very specific pasta that you only find and you'll only eat if you go to Sardinia. Like, here in Ireland, not many people use it,
No.
Obviously, a couple of specialized Italian restaurants would use it.
So what is
it? It reminds me of couscous, Like, you get the flour, they make little balls in the hand.
Yeah.
And then they toast it, in this case, in Sardinia. So then you use it as a normal pasta. You put on a pot of water with salt and you blanch it as it says on the packet. So in this case, we only cooked half a way of it,
Yeah.
Because what we are doing is we are doing like a one-pot wonder, okay? So I have already, you see, one of the Le Creuset pot there that I can put in the oven because you can, we use them on the fire or the induction as I'm doing here.
Yeah.
And I have the guanciale going. So the guanciale, we know already is the cheek of the pork, so it will be like a pancetta, but much better, because the fat is better.
Fattier.
And you let it go there. Then I have here shallot, carrots, and celery. The Holy Trinity, as I call it. You put it everywhere in all the stews that you do.
It's kind of the perfect base, really.
Exactly,
isn't it, for
absolutely.
everything?
All the nice flavors and everything. And you let it go for a little bit, not long, like maybe 4 or 5 minutes.
Okay.
And then I prepared a different kind of mushroom. So we'll have the chestnut mushroom that, you can find like this.
So sorry, did you put the guanciale in first to kind
Guanciale in
of
first,
render
because-
it down?
Exactly, it releases all the fat, so then you don't have to add the extra oil.
And you don't take it out to do the vegetables.
In
you
this
can kind
case,
of
you
put it all
don't
in
need to.
together.
In this case, you don't need to. If you have one pot only that maybe doesn't fit in the oven and you want to do it on the fire, it's better to remove them like that,
Okay.
But like this, you have all the flavors in it. And then I have the chestnut mushrooms that they are like the champignon that you can buy, the normal mushroom.
Okay.
Just they're brown. And I cut them up. Then I have the portobello mushroom or flat mushroom. They just cut in pieces. And then I have oyster mushroom that they look like this. You can find them in the mixed mushroom packages,
Yes.
They're all different flavor, different texture. You just buy one packet and it's already all mixed up.
Okay.
Easy peasy.
Okay.
I know you are not a fan of
No,
mushroom,
not a big fan
but
of
you're eating
mushrooms,
them
yeah.
there.
Well, I am. I'm trying to put on a brave face here and find my way around it. Trying to find the guanciale in here.
And then you just mix them up and you let it cook for about 5 or 6 minutes. Okay? Because the mushroom always need a little bit of cooking in there.
Okay.
Okay? And then I deglaze with the white wine.
Okay.
Always get a white wine that you like to drink.
Oh, yeah.
So you can taste it as you're
Oh,
using
that's
it.
very important. That's a very important part of this.
Yeah, otherwise you open the bottle of wine and you put it there in the pantry and have it there for weeks to no end, and then you have
And
to
you
throw
don't
it
use
out.
this, you're dead right.
No.
That always happens to me.
Yeah, it's to avoid waste.
Doesn't happen to
Exactly.
me.
It's to avoid waste.
What do you mean by deglazing it? Is that just cleaning the pan? Like,
Well, yes, it's the technical term they use, to deglaze, because what happens is you're putting items in a pan that could be anything between meat, vegetables, or even fish, and you let it cook out so it starts to sizzle quite fast, and then that's when you say to
so it
deglaze.
sticks to the bottom,
Exactly.
kind of?
Then you put the wine on it, and what happens is you add the flavor, and the wine instantly evaporates. So it's called deglazing.
Okay. Okay. So it
it's
kind
just a
of
very technical
adds
term.
it all together. And
Yeah,
if
well, you add flavors.
Oh, it's
You know,
the
in this
flavour
case,
then.
usually the wine works as an acidic base.
Yes.
Okay.
You know, like you have all these different texture and flavors that you need to work out.
And could you use a red wine in this? Or
You
is white
could, but I
wine
would
just-
probably get a little bit too deep and too heavy. You know,
Okay.
red wine tend to kind of give the strength. Like
The
if you think
acidity.
about bolognese or beef stew,
Yeah.
that's where you use the red wine, thick, heavy.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, instead in this case we keep it nice and light. For lamb, you always use white wine. You know, people
do
would
you?
think red wine, but white wine makes it much, much better. Absolutely.
Yeah, I would have thought red.
I would have thought red as
And
well,
then you
yeah.
see it starts to kind of boil down, okay? In this case, we call to reduce. Yeah.
Oh, he's using all the technical terms
Exactly.
today.
And then we have the Fregula sarda that I only par-cooked for about 5 minutes in salty water.
Okay.
And then you add it to it.
I have to
okay?
say, that pasta's very fun to eat, isn't it?
Yeah.
Lovely, yeah.
It's different on the tip.
Yeah, it's a fun texture.
And then once you have like that, you put in your stock. You know, in my case, I put chicken stock, and then you just top up with water until you kind of cover it, okay? And then you put it in there and in the oven for about 30 minutes, 25 to 30 minutes, about 140, 150 degrees. So it's not so high that you'll walk away, maybe start to clean the plates, do something, and you burn everything in the oven. You get me?
We
You
love
have
when
to
he
be like
says
that.
burn.
And can be done without the pancetta or without the guanciale in case you're vegetarian, like Shiva.
thank
so
you,
we make sure
Alberto.
that everybody's happy.
Yeah.
You can add it at the pan in the pot like we did for you. There.
Real easy one pot wonder.
Yeah, and once you get to Inter, you want these things.
Yeah, big time.
I know, I love a one pot as well, because we were talking earlier that people can sometimes fight about bins, people can also fight about washing up, so if there's only one pot,
Absolutely.
reduces fights.
Absolutely. I always say clean as you go. as you are cooking, you wash it. So then you don't have to pick it up after, otherwise you look...
Great concept.
my wife.
I believe in it.
I like to leave it all there.
Leave it there for somebody else.
Yes,
Yeah, but then
I've cooked you to clean up.
Bye.
Anyway, that's absolutely delicious. I'm going to absolutely demolish this as a beautiful breakfast. Thank you, Alberto.
No
Time
problem
for
at all.
a break now. Maureen, what's going to be up next?
I'm allowed to sound close to the models all of a sudden. I'm never allowed this close to Danny. It's amazing. We have got fashion for the festive season, from jumpsuits to dresses to sparkly bits. We're helping you get kitted out. We're back very shortly on Ireland AM.
Perfect coffee every time. Tassimo sponsors cookery on Ireland AM.
We're totally ready on time and not falling off our chairs. Hi, welcome back to Ireland AM. The winter is on the way, but we have the perfect way to style yourself through the colder months, Shiva.
Yes, stylist Rob Condon joins us now to showcase the perfect occasion wear for this winter. Welcome, Rob.
Rob was like, can I help any of you get on your chair? You don't know what you're doing, the two of you.
Step ladder.
It's going to be fine. Hi!
Hi. Yes, we're taking a look at occasion wear. Lots of great pieces, whether you have a Christmas party coming up, whether it's a winter wedding, or any events you might have, from lunches to nights out.
Gorgeous. We're going to start today with Sarah and our first look.
Sarah, and we're all about forest green with this look and making it really cosy as well with this whole look. It's a perfect outfit for any parties you might have coming up this season, and it's all about those really winter looks, colours that we're seeing so much of at the moment. With the coat, it is $69.99.
Wow.
This is a great piece because it's great to throw over a dress, going to a party, an event you might have, but also throwing this with a t-shirt, a jumper, knitwear underneath it, a pair of denim jeans. It is a great piece to have.
I
in your
tried one of
wardrobe.
those on yesterday and I find it fascinating that I'm trying to get rid of all my body hair, but yet I want to wear the hairiest thing in the entire world.
Makes no sense,
You're
Maureen.
trying to
But they're gorgeous.
Yes,
Yeah,
they are, and
Love
they're
them.
really cosy, and there's so much of them out there in lots of different colours as well. Then underneath it, we've gone with this beautiful forest green, quite a satin finish to it, all about the detailing there. You can see the pleated detailing to it, full length sleeve to it. It's A-line, so it's going to be great for lots of different body shapes with that A-line skirt to it. And then that frill detailing to the bottom of it. What a perfect piece to add to your autumn winter
Yeah, I
wardrobe.
really like that.
Yeah,
The
and
shoulders are cute.
A beautiful colour. Yeah, exactly. That
You're
shoulder
hiding the dress on
detailing.
us, Sarah. You want to show us? I mean, sorry, the bag. Show us the bag.
And then we have gone with gold accessories, so you can see that envelope clutch style bag, and it works really well with those greens. Greens, golds always look great together. Burgundies as well would work great with this, those really autumn winter tones.
And the shoes?
And then with the shoes, we've gone with a strappy pointed toe shoe there, gold detail to them. A really fancy pair of shoes there that would go great with a pair of jeans as well if you wanted to
Yeah, you could wear them
change
with
it up
anything,
and
you
you
could.
kind
They're
of
like
dress
yours
it up
They're
the
very
jeans.
like mine.
They are a little bit, yeah.
You've got the same vibe.
There you go.
Going
I
on
could do your
today.
job, Rob.
Yes, you could.
Swap.
Can you get on that chair?
We
No, I'm
swap
hoping not.
seats.
And the earrings.
And then with the earrings, we've gone with a really statement pair of earrings. What I love about these earrings is if you have a plain black dress at home and you want to give it a little bit of a boom, throw a pair of earrings like this and it's going to dress it up completely. Even for a gift idea, these earrings are great because there's so much detail to them.
Love it.
Thank you, Sarah. Cheers.
Gorgeous.
Moving on to look number 2 from Danny today.
Yes, Danny is with us next, and I absolutely love this look here. It's all about that sequins jacket with the look for sparkly season ahead. Again, they're two pieces that you can mix and match in your wardrobe, and they're going to work. With the blazer here, you can see the button detailing to it. It's available from FridaysEdit.com. 3/4 length sleeve, a little bit of ruching to it here. We've gone with a cami underneath it, but definitely if you wanted to, you could go with no cami underneath it as well and kind of bring it into a blazer top. You could go with this blazer over a black dress if you wanted, a white dress. So there's so much you can do with this piece. Go with a pair of leather leggings with it, and it's going to work really well. We've gone with the high-waisted 70s white trousers, great pocket detail to them. They're quite a stretch material to them as well. I think they just look brilliant with this look.
I really like what you've done with the navy and the burgundy.
Yeah, just bringing in the burgundy. We're
really
seeing
nice.
lots of burgundy out there, and it works really well with the white and the navy too.
It does.
The sequins jacket, it just
bag
works
and the
in
shoes,
well,
the
and
bag's
especially
gorgeous.
bringing back in the shoes. So we've got the bag there. You can see just the little bag, silver detailing to it, and we've matched that back in with the shoes also in this look. But it just works great colour-wise with them.
Yeah, very shiny with the shoes and the bag and the sparkle. sparkles. I like it.
Yeah, bringing all those metallics in.
No, me either. No. At Christmas time, it's a great excuse to do it, isn't it? Put all the shiny stuff on in one outfit.
It is, but those colours I never would have thought of together, and I really like them.
Really well.
Yeah, they're gorgeous.
Yeah.
Are we going to move on to jewellery?
Jewellery, then we've accessorised a lot with this look, keeping it in with golds because it just works really well with the burgundies and navy tones to it. We've got the earrings, which are a statement pair of earrings, available from New Look, and then we've gone with, because of the neckline to it, I think going with a statement piece, but you don't want something that's going to drop too low either. So keeping it quite high with the necklace there, and then finishing off with the bracelet available from Next, and it's a hammered gold bracelet.
Yeah, I really like the chunky jewellery there. That's gorgeous.
Yeah.
The earrings are a bit of me, bit of me.
Lovely.
Thank you so much, Danny.
But again, with those two pieces, there's so much you can do, mix and match in your wardrobe. Even the white trousers with the coat we saw previous, black top underneath it, would work really well.
Now here is Blonde.
Blonde is with us now, and we've gone with this faux wrap dress. Blue, lots of silver detail to it. This is the perfect dress for any party or occasion you have coming up. A winter wedding, bring a little bit of faux fur to this, would look great. Also, the belt detail, it does come with it. If you wanted to break it up a little bit, you could change the belt there with this look, but I think it's just all about the fit, flair and shape to this dress. You can see it's fully lined. Lots of detail to it, V-neck line to it.
It's the Mage vibes without the Mage price line.
And you said it's faux wrap. Why is it faux wrap?
It's faux wrap, so it has the appeal of a wrap dress because of the string detail to it, the way it's cut to the bust of it, but it doesn't have that you're kind of trying to loop it in.
Great.
So you've got a little bit more structure when it's a faux
You're not worried about it flying open
dress.
then during the wedding.
Exactly. Exactly. You're keeping it all together.
With silver shoes.
Yeah, just because there's lots of silver in the dress, we've gone with a silver pointed shoe here, which are a great pair of heels that are going to go with lots of different things in your wardrobe. They're just stepping it up from a neutral, but still keeping it quite neutral.
And they're not that high as well.
No, exactly.
Like
so
that.
they're going to be easy to walk in also. And then we've matched the silver back in then with the earrings, and we've gone with a really 90s style hoop earring to finish off the look.
Love the 90s style. Real Mage vibes. Well done, well done, well done. Blonde, thank you so much. Looks absolutely gorgeous. We're going on to our final look of today. We promised a jumpsuit, and Sarah's delivering.
Our final look this morning, we've gone with a jumpsuit. It's available from Vava Voom, and we've kept it a blank canvas with this jumpsuit here this morning. Yeah.
It's so nice, because normally it's just me going, and Alan's like, the stadia.
Look, that neckline is just, it has me in a chokehold. Like, I love it.
Beautiful. Really is a stunning jumpsuit. And as well, I love that it's a blank canvas. You can do anything with it. There's so much you're going to be able to do with it. We've gone with silver with it this morning, so with the silver bag, you could bring gold to this. There's any colour you're going to be able to bring to it. Again, you could break it up with like a blazer. We saw the sequins blazer a few minutes ago, that over your shoulders with this, even a long line blazer. There's so much you can do with it. It's great shape to it. It's all about the neck detailing to it there.
Yeah.
And then it's coming in at the waist there, and then pocket detailing and quite a flared to the end of it as well. With the bag, we've gone with silver envelope style bag there, which you can see the silver works really great with it.
It does.
But any
Yeah,
colour
it looks
is going to
super
work
dressy.
with this.
Yeah.
Exactly. And you could put like a shirt over it, tuck it into the belt here with it. There's lots you could do with a plain black jumpsuit. Even bring a casual, throw a pair of trainers with it, knitwear jumper over it, a little bit off the shoulder, and it's going to work. Finishing it off with the shoes there. They're pointed shoe with silver diamante detailing just to bring back in the bag. And then also we have the disc style silver earrings.
Gorgeous.
Love it.
Lovely.
Yeah, it's
lovely.
so glamorous, this look.
Yeah.
Now, it could also be Sarah. She looks amazing in it, but that's so nice.
Yeah.
You tug. See her beforehand, lads. Oh, my God. She threw a bush, that one. Always terrible. Thank you, Sarah Morrissey, Goddess, all of you. Rob Condon, thank you so much.
Thanks
Lovely
a
look
lot,
this
Rob.
morning. Cheers. Lots more still to come. We're going to be meeting the woman who applied her work ethic to her dating life.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing about that. Like, 28 dates sounds like a bit of me, to be honest. Back in the day, maybe.
28 dates sounds like a bit of... Sorry? We're going to be interviewing Shiva. If you've gone out on a date with her, 0896 111 111, we'd love to hear from you.
Phone lines are going to be...
Hopping, are they? Hopping.
Plus, we're going to chat to a man who's wild about watches. Stay with us for more. Tarash, you're very welcome back to the final hour of Ireland AM today. We've got a serial dater and a watch appraiser coming up.
Gurv, Mila Mahagut. You've got to say something Irish too.
Impressed, yeah, it's Mr. Tommy.
Best day ever.
We're going to be speaking to the New Yorker? Did I go New Yorker there? Who went viral for going on 28 dates in 28 days in a bid to find the one.
Looking forward to that. Also, was it Shiva you put it out there for?
Yes, Shiva says she did way more than 28 dates in 28 days back in the day when she was single. So we're looking for one of the many people that she dated. How was she? 096 111. Was it a good date?
Get in touch. Anyway, they say diamonds are a girl's best friend, but we are going to be discovering why watches are men's, as we are going to meet YouTube's #1 watch expert who has a whopping 1.5 million subscribers on YouTube.
Can't wait. And no texts, please. And Deric's morning is going swimmingly. How are you getting on Shin, Deric?
Yes, good morning, guys. It is wild, it is windy, but we couldn't have picked a better morning to come down here to Spanish Point in County Clare. We're with all the Snobby Saucer crew. We've a bit of a Cayley kicking off here live on air this morning. Porrick, pop over here to me. Porrick, good morning to you.
I'm great.
You're getting the cardio in.
I'm telling you. I'm out of breath now.
Yeah. Come here, you have exploded online, haven't you?
Oh, I have, yeah. It's just absolutely fantastic. Absolutely
Are you enjoying it all?
I'm loving it.
I know you did a gig there recently with Sharon Shannon. You're also in the 3 Arena.
That's right, we did the 3 Arena with Sharon Shannon. Look, my whole life has changed. I'm 70 years old, I came in, and it's fantastic, absolutely.
You're like a young fella. What do you play, by the way?
I play the accordion, I play the spoons, I play the juice harp.
And you also, I believe, lilt.
Oh, yes, I love lilting.
Yes, will you give us a bit of a lilt before we go back to studio? Off we go. Oh, back to Dublin. Love from Clare.
What a way to start your morning. Love that. I think, isn't it Dance with Porrick, I think is his Instagram? Yeah. Sensation. Love him.
It's lovely. Do you know what? It will put you in a really... It would put you in...
more practice on that one.
Hey, I did music for my junior cert, and the lads are dancing. Lovely to put you in a good mood this morning. To get in contact with us, it's 0896 111 111, looking for those Shiva dating stories.
You need to be chilled to handle Irish weather. That's why Chill sponsor weather updates on Virgin Media One.
Thank you very much, Ger. Broadcasting live here from Spanish Point down in County Clare. We're going to be catching up with June Curtin and the Snov y Sauce swim crew a little bit later on at 9:35, so that's all to come in the next wee while. Now, we're getting past 9 o'clock here together. I have to say, we're having the most glorious morning down here in the Banner County. Very windy out there, in fact, though you will notice it if you're heading out and about. Fresh to locally strong and often gusty westerly winds in the driving seat now for the coming hours. But elsewhere, some really, really nice sunshine to kickstart the 15th of the month. Now, right across today, take a look at the map because it is holding pretty steady, pretty decent. Some really nice November sunshine on the cards to make up for all that rain we've had over the last 2 weeks. Elsewhere, though, down south, we will see that cloud cover build towards the back end of the day, with showers arriving then through the southwest for the latter half of your Wednesday. A nip in the air chill out there today as well. Top valleys of around 9 to 12, even 13 in some spots. So into time, we'll see that system of showers feed up across much of Munster through parts of the Midlands, Southern Continent to Southern Leinster. Dry the further north we go. That's in fact where we're going to see the coolest of those temperatures out there tonight, in and around 2 to 4 degrees, as that rain, slightly heavy at times too, pushes up across the country. Down south, that's where we're going to see the mildest of those valleys, with temps there at 5 to 7 degrees Celsius. So that's how we're shaping up here down in the Banner County. We're in Clare this morning. We'll be back again live at 9:35.
You need to be chilled to handle Irish weather. That's why Chill sponsor weather updates on Virgin Media One.
Hello, you are very welcome back. Now, we were discussing plenty of things on the show this morning, one of which being a new study done on smartphone addiction. We're all addicted to our smartphones,
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
I think. But this was 50,000 people, a study carried out by University of Canada. You are absolutely addicted to your smartphone. University of Canada and Harvard University found that women under 40 are most likely to be addicted to their smartphones.
So
Surprised
ladies,
by that?
No, but ladies, if you have the phone out, We'll be under 40 forever.
Well, we have a message saying, I am addicted to my phone. I'm a secondary school teacher. I teach well-being and tips on how to reduce your screen time. I feel like the biggest hypocrite. It's mental. It's a mental and physical addiction. But that is true. Like, I try my best to not, and it's automatically you just pull out your pocket or you're just scrolling by accident.
As soon as your mind or your hands aren't busy, the first thing you do is pick up your phone. You know, it's as soon as you're stationary, you know?
Yeah, and it's something to do, and...
We have another one. I'm in my late 70s. I use my phone every day to remember all the things I forget. I couldn't do without it.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I love making my lists on my phone now.
I kind of worry with my kids, though, because, like, eventually they're going to get phones and I'm kind of trying to tell them, get off your phone.
And they're
and then see me and I'm just, you know...
Yeah,
so
do as I say, not as I do.
Yeah, a little bit. So, yeah, I'm sure a lot of parents out there probably do feel a bit hypocritical.
They certainly do. We were talking about recycling as well because the EPA report yesterday found that just Irish people haven't a clue how to recycle. And it says, I find that people need to be encouraged financially to recycle properly, says Luz, or fined if they are not doing so. The new recycling machines that are popping up in different shopping centres might show how people are financially motivated to recycle. Other countries even pay cash on returning glass bottles. And you were saying in Japan the fines are quite hefty.
Very, very severe. Yeah, you know, so that would incentivise you, you know, to do it properly, wouldn't it?
Absolutely. And hit people in the pocket, that'll teach them. Yeah,
Can
absolutely.
you imagine, though?
The uproar. Yeah, thank you very much for sending those texts this morning.
Yes, now coming up, we're going to be discussing societal stigmas when it comes to prioritising your love life. Basically, we've got 10 minutes of texts from Shiva's ex-lovers on how many dates she went on.
I'm leaving. I am going.
For more on that. So there's actually quite a few here.
Be with you in a minute. Welcome back. Now our next guest is a New York-based blogger who challenged herself to go on 28 dates in 28 days, all while documenting the process, of course, on her social media.
That is some stamina. Before we chat to Maren Howgo, let's take a look at how one of her dates went.
16 of 28 was with a comedian. He found me on Instagram, and I've never been on a date with a comedian before. He's slightly younger, 28, and he had me meet him in West Village at the Up and Up. It's a cute little basement bar with really great cocktails. He ordered the charcuterie board, and I had an Aperol Spritz. I'll swim in like a little snack with our cocktail. Him being in the entertainment industry, I really didn't know what his intentions were, but it turned out he was super genuine, and he did not crack as many jokes as I thought he was going to. He definitely was a vibe. And I think we're going to go on a second date this upcoming Friday, and that was my night.
Well, that was her night. There we go, date number 16. Good morning to you, Maren. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning. Thanks so much for having me.
So take us back to February. The dating life, you decided to get back into it and you took your work ethic into the dating world. 28 dates in 28 days. Where did that idea come from?
Yeah, I was very single, and at the time I was 31 years old, and I wanted to take my love life in my own hands. February is typically a month for couples, as we have Valentine's Day here. I'm not sure if you guys have it in Ireland, but oh, you do? Okay. So we definitely, like, for me, I just wanted to take my love life into my own hands.
Lovely. We actually have the heart of St. Valentine in Ireland. There you go. Just to let you know, Maren, in case you're ever here.
Oh, thank you.
So there you go. So I'm just wondering, with all of these things, when you're going out on all these dates, you've decided you're going to do it whether you meet someone or not. Dating can be like a job in America. We're only kind of getting into that culture here. An awful lot of it was go to a nightclub, kiss someone before the end of the night. That was kind of our dating experience in Ireland.
Maren's tactic.
That was my tactic. Always worked at 10 to 3. So I'm just wondering, Maren, what were some of the good dating experiences and the bad?
Yeah, I had a lot of really good dating experiences. New York City men in particular are very competitive. So as my challenge went more and more viral, the dates became more and more elevated. And so I was going on scavenger hunts. I felt like I was the Bachelorette. And so, yeah, I had a lot of really, really good dates. And then I had a few bad ones. I had a guy who told me that his dog had been home all day, and he asked me to come back to his place just so we could quick let it out. And then we go to a different bar. We got back to his place. There was no dog. So there were some definite, some sketchy characters along the way.
Yeah, absolutely. That's just beyond creepy. But I suppose as the dates started to go viral, did that kind of take it to a kind of a meta level that you're like, is this real or is this not now? That men like wanted to see their date look good online.
Oh, for sure. New Yorkers love a exclusive experience. And so, you know, definitely going on a date with me probably was a fun talking point within their friend group. And then there were also some people within the entertainment industry where, you know, I was becoming this viral sensation. And so they kind of wanted to hop on the trend. So there were definitely some bad, or not bad intentions, but wrong reasons.
It seems to be something that's very popular at the minute. We see there's an influencer over in London doing it. They're trying to go on 50 dates. Like, is this something, like, is this for social media or is this something you would actually recommend people doing?
Yeah, I actually just started talking to her. We linked up online recently and she's going on 50 first dates. My challenge in particular was just 28 dates in 28 days. So it didn't have to be 28 first dates. I actually only went on 15 first dates and then the rest were second, third, fourth, fifth dates. And so, yeah, I mean, definitely there was a accountability side to it. I did become viral. I did get a platform from this. And so, you know, it does start to question, like, what are the reasons that you're doing this? And so, yeah, I think that's definitely a valid question.
So do you think it created a barrier to sincerity in love, to actually finding someone who might be genuine?
Yeah, for sure. And for me, actually, the second person I went on a date with during the challenge, he was the person who I was the most serious with throughout. And he actually turned out to be either married or in a long-term relationship. I never found out. And so for me, the reason I'm glad I did the challenge is because it kept me accountable to, you know, not putting all my eggs in one basket and actually using the test of time to see if, you know, these people were actually who they said that they were. And this was before I even became viral. So again, I think it's a balance. I think you need to explore your options, but also, you know, if you're going on 28 dates in 28 days, I think it's hard to have a bunch of genuine connections because it's just a lot of people all at once.
So, Maren, we all want to know it. Did it work? Did you find love in these 28 days? How's the love life at the moment?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So I definitely fell for the person who ended up having a long-term relationship. I thought, this is my love story. This is my person. Turns out he was a little bit nefarious. So at this point in time, I'm still single, yet I'm very excited to continuing to date. You know, love is not always so easy. And so although it would have been beautiful to, you know, end the challenge and have found my husband, that wasn't my story. And I'm still optimistic and I'm still looking for love.
So you're still dating all that. Are you broke from dating? Like, it's not cheap to be going out all the time. You must be like, oh my God, I'll spend more money on this fella that I'll never like.
Broken from dating.
Oh, broken, yeah.
Yeah, no, definitely. That's why I had to take a break. And yeah, no, dating is really expensive, both for men and women. A lot of the men in New York tend to pay for the dates, but I paid for my Ubers to and from, as well as makeup, hair, outfits. And so it was very expensive for me, but the expenses just maybe looked a little bit different than the men's expenses.
Yeah, very valid.
You've just turned 32, and I think you said you took on this challenge because you felt there was this pressure to get a boyfriend and things to get serious. Like, is there a stigma? Do you think there's very much a stigma, particularly among women, that they need to be in a serious relationship in their 30s?
Absolutely. I think once women turn 30 and above, they feel like their time has passed, especially in the US. There's a culture around, you know, women being washed up and, you know, women don't really openly talk about dating. And that's why I took on this challenge, is because I needed somebody like myself to be like, no, you can still have high standards. You don't just have to settle for the next schmuck that presents himself. And yeah, I think that there's a lot of stigma around women specifically being over 30 and dating. For men, people are more so like, this is your time to shine. You're an eligible bachelor. So there's definitely a double standard.
Yeah, it's incredibly annoying for, I'm sure, a huge amount of people that find themselves in this situation. Do you have people saying to you, you know, that really annoying thing, what's for you won't pass you by, what's meant for you? And you're like, no, this is a job.
1000%.
Yeah.
got so comfortable in my lifestyle. I was exercising consistently. I was focused on work. I have a great group of friends. I have a family. So I was basically prioritizing everything else besides love. And so, yeah, you do kind of need to prioritize it. It is a second full-time job to find love in this day and age, and it's consistency, and that's it. Yeah, it's a lot of work.
Now, Leslie, you do run a podcast called Crowdsourcing Love. You're discussing romance with lots of dating gurus. Are you a Cupid? I mean, do people go to see you? Like, what advice would you have people in this situation?
Yeah, so my biggest piece of advice is on first dates, you should just be doing a vibe check. It's not about seeing if this person is your soulmate. And just like enjoy the first date, have a conversation, and then save the heavier topics for the second, third, fourth date when it comes to, are we aligned when it comes to marriage, children, all of those bigger topics. And then also don't get stuck in the wrong places. So many people, you know, they try to convince somebody who's not that interested in them to try to convince them to love them. Instead, just realize that that person doesn't like you and just keep moving. There's so many people out there who will value you for who you are.
Plenty of fish in the sea.
Best of all, don't you start with those two things.
Yeah.
Best of luck with everything, Maren. Crowdsourcing Love is the name of your podcast at Life of Maren NYC. Is your social. Thanks for joining us this morning. We appreciate it. Thanks. Bye, Maren.
Bye, thank you.
You very much. 4 o'clock in the morning, so fair play to you, Maren, for getting up and chatting to us this morning. Really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Now, after the break, we have got a display of wonderful watches, and I'm very excited.
Well, you fixed mine. It hasn't worked in like 2 years.
Me neither.
That would be happy. Deric's also going to be making a splash in County Clare. We'll talk to you shortly on Ireland AM.
You need to be chilled to handle Irish weather. That's why Chill sponsor weather updates on Virgin Media One.
Thank you very much. You're live down here in Spanish Point in County Clare. We're going to be catching up with the Snámhaí Sásta swim crew. We're going to be talking about all things mental health and wild swimming in the Atlantic as well. Very cold this time of year anyway. That's all to come in the next few moments. Now, quick look at weather. A gorgeous start down here in the Banner County. In fact, lots of you waking up to some really nice November sunshine out there this morning, with the exception of the northwest, with some scattered showers trailing around. Quite windy out there as well. Locally strong and gusty westerly winds. Now, across the day, in fact, take a look at the map. A beautiful day in store. Some really, really nice sunshine kicking through for the 15th of the month. 8 to around 12 degrees in terms of those temps, with some cloud thickening up through the south. And then into tonight, we will see that rain through parts of Munster, spread up around the Midlands, southern Leinster, southern Connacht as well. But milder there in terms of those valleys, around 5 to 7. Colder the further north we go there, back to 2 to 4 degrees. So that's how it's shaping up for now. We've got the Snámhaí Sásta crew coming your way in a few moments' time.
You need to be chilled to handle Irish weather. That's why Chill sponsor weather updates on Virgin Media One.
Now you're very welcome back. Our next guest went from selling watches in the boot of his car to becoming one of the most famous luxury watch experts on the planet.
Yes, with over 1.5 million subscribers on YouTube and a massive 22 million likes on TikTok, Nico Leonard has worked with some of the world's biggest celebrities, and he joins us now. Nico, you are very welcome. Thanks so much for coming in and chatting to us today.
With a lot of pretty damn impressive watches here this morning.
Watches.
So if the camera screens off and one goes missing, it's a big deal.
So you were just chatting about the watches. It's like listening to people speaking a different language. There's a lot going on, but you were originally from Amsterdam and grew up with a love for watches. What was it initially about watches that drew you to them?
No, it was not really like watches. It was mechanical things and cameras and stuff like that. And my father had a camera shop, right, selling photo cameras. So I loved taking that apart, loved taking watches apart. And that stuff goes really hand in hand. And that's where it really started for me. But being able to make a career out of it, that I never thought that was in any way, shape or form possible.
I mean, because you're Dutch, right? Then you moved to Belfast, I think, for love. We won't get into all that story. But you started out, like, you were working in Dublin and Vodafone shop with your love for watches. So you thought, like you were literally selling them out of the back of a car.
Yeah.
When did you realise that your passion, could become an actual business?
So I drove every day, right, from County Down, Banbridge, County Down, to first to Carrickmines,
yeah.
so Junction 15 on the N50 for 3.5 years, and it was very expensive. So to cover that fuel cost, and Vodafone didn't want to pay for that, I tried to basically fix watches. Right?
Okay.
I've been doing that from when I was quite young, right? Taking stuff apart. I was really good at taking stuff apart. I was less good at putting it back together.
You weren't telling people you were doing the work for that, though. Yeah.
But I found a wee trick that you can buy batteries in bulk for like £2, and you get 10 or 20 batteries on this paper sheet, and then I was replacing batteries for people, and that's how I made a few quid. But at a certain point in my career at Vodafone, I was very unhappy. The guys were amazing, but I was just at a point in life that I wanted more,
Yes.
and I believed that you can only excel in the things you really loved, and that was watches. So I'm like, I'm just going to give this a shot, you know.
And now YouTube has allowed you to grow your business exponentially, but originally you didn't want to do the whole YouTube thing. So what led you to upload your first piece of content there?
It wasn't me, I was pushed for that, right? I never believed that it would be in any way, shape or form a success. And the funny bit is, and I keep saying this, I'm such a great businessman that the one idea I didn't believe in turned out to be the idea that saved my business.
That was the one.
It's mad,
But
like,
isn't it incredible to something that, like fixing watches, which I think is something that you find kind of embarrassing, like people, your friends used to almost slag you off about it. And then all of a sudden, like, it's blown up, like the watch world, and through YouTube has gone, like, worldwide for you.
Yeah, absolutely. It's crazy to be... I was in Shanghai a couple of weeks ago, and being recognised in the street in Shanghai is mind-blowing. Now, as well, YouTube is not accessible in Shanghai.
Oh, yeah, of course.
So that's how mind-blowing it is. When we're in California, I've done 124 flights this year, right? I've been in a countless amount of countries, and being recognised everywhere for something that in the past I was ridiculed for is just the best thing in the world, you know?
Wow.
It's incredible. Like, even some of the people, like, whenever you're doing those flights, like, you're meeting some, like, proper celebrities. Like, you have Luke Combs, you have KSI, Andrew Schultz, like, proper...
Andrew was great crack, you know.
Big timers. Like, do you turn up? Like, I mean, do you get on a flight? Like, what have we got here in terms of, like,
So I wouldn't really travel with watches anymore. So we've with Pride and Pinion in Belfast, we're the biggest in the island of Ireland, right? We sell watches all over the world, but we're based in Belfast, right? And I personally don't really sell watches anymore. I advise people to go certain directions because watches are often seen as investments in cases. But
they're also incredibly expensive.
Yeah,
like, somebody who maybe had like a Rolex, 10 years ago, I think this is, Submariner. You bought that one for your son, isn't that right?
I bought that.
But like, you're expecting that to grow in price over the next, say, 10, 20 years, hopefully.
So to give you an idea, right, I bought that watch when my son was born in November last year. Now, I forget about the monetary side of things, right? Investment in watches. There's not an object in the world that can carry stories like watches can, right? That you can hand over generations and can wear every single day. I mean, that watch is 70 years old. I mean...
This one here.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And that's an old Rolex. There's no careful.
Don't worry, I could survive 70 years. Like, I mean...
Hasn't survived me yet, though. But so that's 70 years old, and like that would be quite rare and
that's
kind of
extremely
vintage.
rare, yeah.
Like, what sort of price would something like that be?
That would be about, and a good variation would be about 70,000 euros.
70,000 euros. Wow.
But that watch has been on wrists, on people that
through generations.
Yes. That watch carries so many stories, and being able to attach stories to watches, what I tried to do with my son's watch. Like, I will wear that watch 17 times, so every birthday he has, and I'll take a photo of that, and whenever he's 18, he gets the watch with
it's kind of
all
sentimental.
The yes, it is. It is. Above anything else, it is sentimental, yeah.
And is that kind of your favourite thing about the watch industry? That, is it the status symbol or is it the sentimental value that you attach to these watches?
I've never really cared about the status symbol, bar moments where I was younger, and nowadays not anymore. Like, I mean, putting a good watch on in the morning like that made me feel more confident,
Yes.
right? Going in meetings and wearing a nice watch gave me more confidence. When I was young, I wore watches for the wrong reasons, like trying to show off, of course. But like I'm older now, and I there's nothing that can tell a story as
I love that.
as good as a watch can. I mean.
Yes.
Like I look at a watch and don't really look at the time. It reminds me of moments.
Oh, that's like Warren, because her watch isn't working.
Exactly.
Very good.
Doesn't tell the time.
Actually, this one is set, to be fair. I'll tell you that.
We won't say anything. Listen, like these watches for people who probably wouldn't know the monetary value or whatever else, but there's people who would know. Like, for instance, this one, I think. How much is this one? This is a Royal Oak, and I do need to be careful pulling this one.
No, you don't have to be, man.
What's her price? Would something like this one be?
What you see here, this is my personal. This is part of my personal collection, because what I wanted to bring was watches that have memories, right?
Yeah.
And that watch I wouldn't let it go for anything below $2 million.
2
Yeah,
million.
it's the only watch in the world. It's on the back. It says "Piece Unique." It's based on the 25th anniversary of a very important watch, a watch that saved the Swiss watch industry in 1972. There's incredible stories.
There's history out there.
That watch is history.
As well.
Wow, incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, to think I'm holding something worth €2 million. It's
put it
insane. Like you're speaking at an event today in the RDS. It is the Wealth Summit. Like the likes of Stephen Bartlett from Diary of a CEO, Niall Quinn. There's loads of amazing people. You're on stage with Tom Gannon, who of course people would know from Fulfill Bars. Are you excited about it?
I'm very excited. I'm very proud that I can share the stage with these names. Like, I mean, I'm just a watch guy, and YouTube allowed me to, in the last 2-3 years, YouTube really put me out there in the world, and now I'm all of a sudden on stage with like hardcore businessman. Tom was my first ever customer. So today it's going all full circle for me and for us, and for him, he's very proud, of course, to see like where I got myself together with my team, you know. So it's really cool. Special day today, you know?
Yes, and that's the Wealth Summit that's on today, November 15th. And you're also available on YouTube. People can find you on YouTube at Nico Leonard, which is amazing. It allowed you to connect with an audience, a wider audience, and resonate with people. Thank you so much for coming in and chatting
if you want to get yourself one of these watches, Pride and Pinion.
Belfast. Fantastic.
Nico, pleasure to have you with us.
Thank
you so much.
Appreciate you guys having me.
Best of luck later. Now, coming up next, Deric is testing the waters in County Clare.
Yeah, we'll see you after this short break. Welcome back. Now, it is a cold morning here in Dublin, but that hasn't stopped Deric as he's taking a dip in the Atlantic Ocean.
Yeah, to be fair, we're in a very warm studio and he's about to get in the nip. How are you getting on in Spanish Point?
Oh, well, guys, that's all to look forward to. It's wild and windy. It's a beautiful start down here in Spanish Point in County Clare. I kind of look like an extra out of that E17 video, June. Do you remember it?
I do indeed, and I tell you, you're looking great.
Looking great. Anyway, we're joined here by June Curtin and Geraldo McGrath. Where did that name come from, by the way, Geraldo?
It's a long story. I was in the pub one night and I introduced myself as Geraldo, and I told June about this, and she nailed it on me.
Yeah, she nailed it on you, and it's stuck ever since. Anyway, June, tell us first up about Snowy Sauce, the swim group.
Yeah, thank you. Snowy Sauce will be 5 years old in June. It started, I suppose, after a very sad tragedy in my own life when I lost my beloved husband to suicide in 2013. And at the time, my children were 5 and 9. But it was the years that followed, I suppose, proved very difficult. And I didn't take to the sea until 5 years ago, I suppose. I didn't realise the benefits of sea swimming.
Yeah, was it a very difficult time in your life, June?
Unimaginable. Anybody that has been through that will understand. My children were very small, and I spent a lot of time caring for them, I suppose, and you can't serve from an empty cup, I realised, you know. I didn't realise the analogy of putting on your own oxygen mask first until I was almost at rock bottom myself.
And then you turned to the sea, and it was really a turning point for you.
It was a huge turning point. I was brought up by the sea all my life in the lovely Armada Hotel just over here, and I never learned to swim as a child because as a young age I was always working, and only in the last 5 years I often heard about the benefits of sea swimming, but I had never actually tried it myself. So one morning I took to the cold Atlantic Ocean, and I have to say I've never looked back, and for me often the mental benefits far outweigh the physical benefits.
And from there it has grown, because I follow you online. You've over 30,000 followers on Instagram. We've met a couple of times ourselves. I mean, you have a huge following around the country.
I have a great community and a great following, absolutely, and they're wonderful, and I travel all around Ireland now to different beaches promoting sea swimming, promoting mental health awareness. I was in Waterford a couple of weeks ago on a really cold Friday evening, and there was 300 people there. It's just amazing.
And I know you have a big sleep out this Friday night.
That's right. I fundraise every December for the Midwest Simon community, and sleeping out, 24-hour sleep out from 9 a.m. Friday morning until 9 a.m. Saturday morning.
And lots of swimmers are going to join you. Ger, you love sea swimming as well. You're a you're a Clare man who moved to Dublin, and then you moved back to Clare.
Well, I've loved Clare. I was from Clare, and when I got divorced in 2006, I decided to move back to Clare, and I bought a house in the Hinch, and I love it here. I play golf down there, and I've good fun. It's a great place to live. I swim every morning here with June and her Snova sauce. I started it 3 Christmases ago, which is between nearly 3 years this year. And I feel when I've done it, I feel so invigorated after it.
Yeah,
so
I think exhilarated was the word you used.
It's exhilarated, yeah.
You feel alive.
You feel alive, and the rest of the day, like you're relaxed. It's fantastic.
And it sets you up. And June, I know you have a big challenge coming up this December.
I do. Every December I fundraise for the Midwest Simon community. I swim 3 times a day from the 1st of December to the 21st.
3 times a day? Like, that is proper cold. And I'm a sea swimmer myself, but that is very cold.
You know, Deric, getting into the sea once a day in December is a huge challenge. Never mind 3 times a day. I do it at 9:15, 1:15 and 4:15 from the 1st to the 21st of December. I raised 105,000 last year, and I have a target of 200,000 this year. I haven't quite yet figured out how I'm going to reach that target, but look, at like everything, I'll give it my best shot.
Right, you're already at 11,000. If anyone can support you, where can they find you online?
On Instagram, you can follow me at Snobby Sauce.
Snobby Sauce. Anyway, we couldn't come down here to County Clare without a little bit of a Katie. Now, we're going to get into the sea in just a few moments' time, but here's a little bit of a warm-up, giving you a little bit of a taster before we get ready to go in. Enjoy this for the next few moments. Right, are you back with us? We have stripped off, right? We're going to invite everyone to derobe. Get ready to get into the Atlantic. It's a very cold one down here this morning. It's cold, isn't it, June?
Freezing.
Freezing, right. Are you ready, guys? A 3, a 2, August ahead, in you go. Here we go. No budgie smugglers, shorts today. Love from Clare, back to Dublin.
A bit too far to run.
Come on, get in. Stop waiting. Oh, he's gone off camera. Sneaky.
Come back. He has been teasing us all morning.
Where is he? On his own.
Oh, that's it from us today. What a way to end the show. We love you, Deric.
Dive, Deric, dive.
Have a lovely day, everybody. Come on, Deric.